Hey YouTube and Mini Wargaming, this is the Zipding here, showing you progress on Warhammer Fantasy and answer a question that I posted on my weekly paint on the Mini Wargaming forums. So, I'll get to that later. In fact, the finished model is on the opposite side of the shelf that I'm looking at, and the new model is below this shelf, so I'll get to those at the end. So, hope you enjoy. So over here, I just got, I think the number's 35 skink skirmishers, assorted. They do have like assorted modeling, so there's a bunch of blowpipes, javelins, and spears and whatnot, but I always run them as skirmishers. I never run them ranked up just because they fall apart too easily. In front of them, I got 14 Saurus Cold One Cavalry. I don't really use these guys a whole lot, but they finished these up a few years back. And the main thing that I did was I based everything, so I'm just going to show the skink skirmisher here because it's right there. This is the base that I'm using. This is the basing that I'm going to be using for my Lizardman army. So it's just some rocks and then green flock. And there's Source character converted on Cold One. So it's just basically Source Cavalry, but I've got Temple Guard head and halberd. Flip that. Flip these guys so they're all standing. We got Skink Priest there, converted. He's finished up. Again, this is the model, like, the second, this is, again, a recent model that I completed. Next to that, I got the 20 clan rats with swords and, well, hand weapons, shields. And there's a Plaguewind Mortar. This is all from the Island of Blood set. The Bastillodon that I painted up near end of last year. So that's all completed. I got 20 Plague Monks that I finished. So just going through. Is that I've got the 3 characters back there. This is the Skaven Warlord, the new one from the End Times. Oh, it's a pretty neat model. I use them as BSB just because the flag up top makes that easy. We've got the Warlord, which I've used as General several times, and I've got a Warlock Engineer. I always get him out with the Doom Rocket because the Doom Rocket's fun. Got Storm Vermin. Painted these guys up to fit in my army, but also to be able to use as the Red Guard if I ever get Queek Head Taker. So there's the champion right there. They all have the halberds and whatnot. Another 20 unit of Clan Rats. There's the Warp Lightning Thrower. Behind that I got a unit of 20 ghouls. Yes, I need more. Those are the only ones that I have at this moment. My vampire counts needs more core. And then the right there, the Rat Ogres and Pack Leader from the Island of Blood set. Here there's just 4 riderless steeds. These are skeletal steeds. The reason why they're riderless is because I switched them up between Black Knights and Hex Wraiths. I use Black Knights more often. I like the hitting power. Because they have, on the charge in a single round of combat, obliterated the Bastillodon. So, I like Black Knights. Behind them, 20 skeletons with spears. I know I need more. My core is kind of lacking. I actually don't have enough core to legally run a 2,000 point army, but I have over 2,000 points. Go figure. There, I've got a Karen Wraith, which I accidentally bought thinking it was a Necromancer, so yeah, it still came out well. Right there's the corpse cart that I spent a long time on, and let's just zoom in on his face. Come on, focus, camera. Focus. There we go. Yep. So, lots of detail to put in on the face. We back up a bit. We get to Krell, the Lord of Undead, or the Mortarch of Despair. It's a really, really cool model. I really like the model a lot. And behind that, Conrad von Karstein. Or Karstein, however you pronounce it. Again, I fiddled around on his face and actually painted the eyes. Next to him, the 10 Dire Wolves from the Battle Force, Battalion. Up front, 20 Grave Guard. Unfortunately, the Standard Bearer does not stand. They are modeled with hand weapons and shields. I've used them as hand weapons and shields. I know great weapons are the better option. I plan on getting more Grave Guard though, so There's that. Count Vlad von Karstein, the Mortarka of Shadow. Model that I'm really proud of for painting. Sitting right next to the not so well painted Saurus Old Blood or Scarfhead on foot. We've got 20 Temple Guard here. Full command. We've got 15 Saurus Warriors with spears. And 20, this is actually 20 Saurus Warriors with hand weapons, shields, and whatnot. So the reason why I'm not really moving the camera around a lot is because the completed model is right next to it, and I don't want to show the completed model off yet. So now we go down to the works in progress. I've got 2 Jungle Swarms and Strigoi Ghoul King there. The Ghoul King has a bit of an issue in that he doesn't quite fit on his base properly. So I plan on remedying that with some cork if I ever get any. So he'll be modeled on the cork. Then move over here. This is my current project, which is a warp lightning cannon. So there's the crew, some crew. I've got working on the frame right now. So I've got quite a bit to go. It's going to be the same technique that I used on the frame of the corpse cart. So if we move over to the side here, if I had better lighting back here, just take it out. So that type of effect on it. The frame. I'm going to be using the same thing on the warp lightning cannon. So that's the current project. But first, I'm going to reveal the new unit that I got because it's sitting right here. That unit is the Doom Wheel. I've got it in 5 or so major assemblies. There's the inside. Well, 3 major assemblies and then just individual parts. So there's the main cockpit crew area, all that. Then there's the wheels. I haven't got them primed yet. Weather hasn't been cooperating all that well here for me to be able to prime them. So we've got the wheels there, and then just the miscellaneous pieces that can't go on until the wheels are on. So this and whatnot. And finally, the completed model, the one that I'm really happy about, that I really want to show off, is the Terrorgeist. So this is the completed model. Actually, as of the date of this recording, I finished this yesterday. So this is the rare slot that I just finished. A tall miniature. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to transport it, but there it is. I like the model. I'll probably eventually be getting another model, or potentially 2 more of these kits to get the dragon as well. But it was really fun to paint up. Assembling was an interesting scenario where I accidentally glued those on wrong, and that probably bungled up how the rest of it goes, because I don't think the foot here is meant to be touching the wing, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. All in all, I really like this model. It's the biggest model, it's at least the tallest model that I've ever painted, probably the biggest model I've painted as well. Standard down. Alright, so now you're probably wondering roughly how many points this is. I haven't done full calculations yet. The only one I know for sure is Lizardman. Lizardman, I have about 2,400 points. That's after all upgrades, that's after the characters, that's all magic items, all that sort of thing. About 2,400 points. Vampire counts, if we're using Archaon rules, where I don't have to have the minimum 25% core requirement, before the Terrorgeist, I could get about 2,000 points. So that's including like a 400-point Vampire Lord, Master Necromancer, and then a regular Vampire and a White King. So that's not using any of the special characters. So it's about 500 points. So it's about 2,000 points before the Terrorgeist. The Terrorgeist adds about another 250 points. I haven't calculated that. Now, before adding the Warp Lightning Cannon and the Doom Wheel, I had about 1,000 points of Skaven, so this should bring me to roughly 1,200 points after magic items and other things. So, working on it. I have things. What I'm actually going to be doing next, most likely, is I'm probably going to be picking up a slan. I don't have a slan yet. I need a slan. So that's probably going to be the next thing I pick up. But that only after I finish painting the 5 models that I don't have painted. And then, as a bonus, when I've finally decided that I have a big enough Skaven horde, I have a big enough undead legion, and the Saurus legions are complete, then the next project, High Elves. So these are just the High Elves from the Island of Blood set. Originally got these from my girlfriend, but she's decided she's not overly interested in the hobby. And the fun thing is, when I tried just setting some things up, this broke. So I'm gonna have to check through my drawer of sprues to see if I can find the other flying stem from the Island of Blood kit. If there is one, I don't remember. But the only things that have paint on them are a couple of sword masters. That'll come with time. But they're not the main project. They're not the main project. These 3 armies are. That's it. All right. This is Zipding. Have a good evening, and happy wargaming, everyone.